Hey there, you, scrolling through YouTube, maybe feeling a little lost, a little unsure, like the world's spinning too fast and you're just trying to find your place in it. What if I told you that somewhere out there, a boy named Eli, barely 16, stood at the edge of a dusty road in the middle of nowhere, staring into a horizon that seemed to hold every answer he'd ever wanted, but also every fear he'd ever known? What if I told you his story might just be the key to unlocking something inside you, something you didn't even know you were searching for? You've clicked on this video, for those who feel lost, a boy's journey to wisdom, because deep down, you're craving something. Maybe it's inspiration, maybe it's hope, or maybe it's just a story that feels real, raw, and human. I'm here to promise you, by the end of this, you're going to walk away with something that hits you right in the chest, something that makes you see yourself and your path a little clearer. So, grab a seat, take a deep breath, and let's dive into this together, because this isn't just Eli's story. It's yours, too. You're not leaving this video until you know exactly why you're here, and I'm going to hold your hand through every step of it. Let's talk about what it means to feel lost, to chase wisdom, and to find a spark that lights up even the darkest corners of your soul. Imagine this, a small, forgotten town in the heart of the American Midwest, where the summers are so hot the air shimmers, and the winters are so cold they bite into your bones. This is where Eli lives, a skinny kid with messy brown hair and eyes that seem to carry the weight of 1,000 questions. He's not your typical hero, no capes, no superpowers, just a kid who feels like he's drowning in a world that doesn't make sense. Maybe you know that feeling, two's the one where you're surrounded by people, but you still feel alone, like you're screaming into a void and no one hears you. Eli's got a mom who works double shifts at the local diner, a dad who left when he was 6, and a little sister, MIA, who's 8 and thinks Eli's the coolest person alive, even when he feels like he's failing her. Life in this town is predictable, suffocating, like a song stuck on repeat, and Eli's starting to wonder if this is all there is. But here's the thing, Eli's not just another kid sleepwalking through life. There's something burning inside him, a hunger for meaning, for answers, for a way to make sense of the chaos in his heart. And that hunger, it's about to lead him somewhere no one in his town has ever dared to go. You're watching this because you've felt that hunger, too, haven't you? That ache for something more, something bigger than the day-to-day grind. Stick with me, because Eli's journey is going to show you what happens when you stop ignoring that ache and start chasing it. Now, let's set the stage a little more. It's the summer of 2025, and the world feels like it's on edge. Maybe you've noticed it, too. With all the noise on social media, the endless debates, the way everyone seems to be shouting but no one's really listening. Eli's town is no different. People are tired, angry, divided, and Eli can feel it pressing down on him like a storm cloud. He's been spending his days wandering the fields outside town, kicking rocks and scribbling in a tattered notebook he keeps hidden under his bed. That notebook. It's his sanctuary, filled with questions he's too afraid to ask out loud. Why do people hurt each other? What's the point of dreaming when life feels so small? Is there really such a thing as wisdom, or is it just something adults pretend to have? You might be nodding along right now, because those questions aren't just Eli's, they're universal. They're the kind of thoughts that keep you up at night, scrolling through YouTube for answers, landing on videos like this one. I'm telling you, you're in the right place, because Eli's about to stumble into something that changes everything, not just for him, but for anyone who's ever felt like they're running out of time to figure it all out. Here's where things get interesting. One scorching afternoon, Eli's out by the old oak tree at the edge of town, the one everyone says is cursed because it's been struck by lightning 3 times and still stands. He's sitting there, notebook in hand, when he notices something strange, a glint in the dirt, half buried under the tree's gnarled roots. It's a small, tarnished locket, engraved with symbols he's never seen before, and when he pries it open, there's no picture inside, just a tiny, folded piece of paper with a single sentence written in spidery handwriting. The path to wisdom begins where the road ends. Now, I don't know about you, but if I found something like that, my heart would be racing, my mind spinning with questions. Who left it there? What does it mean? Is it a joke, or is it something more? Eli's no different, he's freaked out, but he's also hooked. That locket, that note, it's like a whisper from the universe, daring him to do something brave, something reckless. And you, watching this right now, you're probably wondering the same thing Eli is. What's at the end of that road? You're going to find out, I promise, but you've got to stick with me, because this is where Eli's journey starts to feel like it's not just his story, but ours. Let's talk about why this matters to you. You're here because you're searching for something. Maybe it's motivation, maybe it's a way to heal from something that's been weighing you down, or maybe it's just a story that makes you feel less alone. Eli's story is all of those things. It's about a kid who feels like he's got nothing going for him, who's scared and unsure, but who decides to take a leap anyway. It's about the people he meets along the way, a mysterious old man named Amos, who seems to know more than he's letting on, a girl named Lila, who's got her own secrets and a smile that makes Eli's heart skip a beat, and even Mia, his little sister, who might just be the wisest one of all. It's about the places he goes, the choices he makes, and the truths he uncovers about what it really means to be wise in a world that feels so broken. You're going to see yourself in Eli, in his doubts, his dreams, his moments of courage and his moments of fear. And I'm going to be real with you, this story isn't just a feel-good tale. It's going to challenge you, it's going to make you think, and it might even make you cry. But it's also going to lift you up, because by the time we're done, you're going to know exactly what Eli finds at the end of that road, and it's going to change the way you see everything. So, what's the deal with this locket, this note, this path to wisdom? I'm not going to spoil it yet, but let me paint the picture a little more. Eli takes that locket home, hides it in his sock drawer, and tries to forget about it. But he can't. Every night, he lies awake, staring at the ceiling, hearing those words in his head. The path to wisdom begins where the road ends. He starts dreaming about a place he's never seen, a vast, endless desert with a single, winding path stretching into the distance, and at the end of it, a light that feels like it's calling him. He doesn't know if he's losing his mind or if this is something real, but he's starting to feel like he's got no choice but to find out. One morning, he wakes up, grabs his backpack, stuffs the locket inside, and makes a decision that could change everything. He's going to leave town, follow the path, and see where it leads. He doesn't tell his mom, doesn't tell Mia, doesn't even leave a note. He just walks out the door, heart pounding, knowing he might not come back the same if he comes back at all. You're probably feeling it right now, that mix of excitement and dread, wondering what's waiting for him out there. You're not alone, I'm right there with you, and I'm telling you, you've got to see this through, because what Eli's about to discover is bigger than anything he or you could have imagined. Here's my promise to you, the person watching this right now. This video isn't just another story. It's a journey we're taking together, you and me, through Eli's eyes, through his heart, through his search for something real in a world that often feels fake. You're going to laugh, you're going to hurt, you're going to cheer, and by the end, you're going to have the answer to the question that brought you here. What do you do when you feel lost? How do you find wisdom when the world feels like it's falling apart? I'm not going to let you down, you're going to get that answer, but you've got to stay with me, because this story is just getting started. Eli's out there, walking that dusty road, the locket burning a hole in his pocket, and something's waiting for him at the end of it, something that could break him, or make him, or maybe both. You're invested now, aren't you? You can feel it, that pull to know more, to see where this goes. Good. Hold on to that feeling, because right now, Eli's taking his first step into the unknown, and the ground beneath him is starting to shake. What happens next? Well, that's the cliffhanger, my friend. Eli's standing at the edge of everything he's ever known, and the path ahead is shrouded in dust and shadow. Is the locket a gift, a curse, or something else entirely? Who's waiting for him out there, and what do they want? And most importantly, will Eli find the wisdom he's searching for, or will he lose himself trying? You're not going to want to miss what comes next, because the answers are coming, and they're going to hit you like a freight train. Keep watching, stay with me, and let's find out together what lies at the end of the road. You're still with me, right? Good, because Eli's out there, his sneakers kicking up dust on a road that's barely a road anymore, the locket tucked in his backpack like a secret he's not sure he wants to keep. The air is thick with the kind of heat that makes your thoughts blurry, and the horizon ahead is a shimmering mirage, teasing him with possibilities he can't quite grasp. You're probably wondering how a kid like Eli, just another teenager in a nowhere town, ended up here, walking away from everything he's ever known with nothing but a cryptic note and a gut full of questions. Let's pull back the curtain a bit, peel back the layers of Eli's life in the weeks leading up to this moment, because trust me, There's more to this story than meets the eye. His world has been unraveling in ways he didn't expect, and the people around him, his family, his neighbors, even strangers, might hold clues to the mystery of that locket and the path he's on. But here's the thing, not everything is as it seems, and the deeper we go, the more you're going to wonder who's pulling the strings. Stick with me, because this journey is about to get a whole lot murkier, and you're going to want to piece this puzzle together just as badly as Eli does. Eli's life in the weeks before he found the locket was anything but calm. School had just let out for the summer, and while most kids his age were sneaking beers by the creek or posting TikToks to chase clout, Eli was restless, like a caged animal pacing in circles. He'd been spending more time alone, wandering the outskirts of town, his notebook filling up with thoughts that felt too big for a 16-year-old. His mom, Sarah, noticed the change. She'd catch him staring out the kitchen window, barely touching the meatloaf she'd slaved over after her shift at the diner. Sarah's a tough woman, the kind who's had to be, raising 2 kids on her own in a town that chews up dreams and spits them out. But even she was starting to worry about Eli, asking him questions he didn't know how to answer. "What's eating you, kid? You're not yourself." Eli would just shrug, mumble something about being fine, but the truth was, he wasn't fine. He was haunted by a feeling he couldn't name, like he was supposed to be somewhere else, doing something important, but he had no idea what or where. You know that feeling, don't you? That itch in your soul that says you're meant for more, but the world keeps telling you to stay small. For Eli, that itch was getting unbearable, and it was pushing him toward something or someone that he wasn't ready for. Then there's Mia, Eli's little sister, who's like a ray of sunshine in a town that's perpetually grey. At 8 years old, Mia's got this uncanny ability to see right through people, and she's been Eli's shadow lately, trailing him to the fields, asking him to read her stories from his notebook. Eli's always been protective of her, maybe because he knows what it's like to grow up without a dad, to feel like the world's a little too big and a little too mean. But lately, Mia's been acting strange, too, talking about dreams she's had, dreams of a man with no face standing under a tree, whispering words she can't understand. Eli brushed it off as kid stuff, but now, thinking back, those dreams are starting to feel like pieces of a puzzle he didn't know he was solving. Could Mia know something about the locket, about the note? It sounds crazy, but in a town where nothing ever happens, the impossible starts to feel plausible. And you're probably wondering, just like I am, if Mia's dreams are just a coincidence or if they're tied to the path Eli's walking right now. Keep that question in your head, because it's going to matter more than you think. There's another figure in Eli's orbit who's been circling closer lately, Amos, the old man who lives in a rundown shack at the edge of town. Amos is the kind of guy people whisper about. Some say he's a hermit, others say he's a genius who went off the grid, and a few swear he's got a past he's running from. Eli's run into him a few times over the past month, usually at the gas station where Amos buys his coffee and mutters to himself. The first time, Amos caught Eli staring and gave him a look that felt like it saw right through him, then said something cryptic. "You're looking for something, boy. Be careful what you find." At the time, Eli thought it was just the ramblings of a lonely old man, but after finding the locket, those words keep echoing in his head. Did Amos know something? Was he trying to warn Eli, or was he planting a seed, nudging him toward this moment? You're probably getting the same uneasy feeling I am, wondering if Amos is a friend, a foe, or something else entirely. In a story like this, where wisdom is the prize and the path is shrouded in mystery, everyone's a suspect, and Amos's shadow looms a little larger than most. And then there's Lila, the new girl who showed up in town a few weeks ago, just as the summer heat started to choke the life out of everything. Lila's 17, with a sharp wit and a way of moving that makes you think she's always one step ahead of everyone else. She's been hanging out at the diner, sketching in a notebook of her own, and Eli's caught her eye more than once. There's something about her, maybe it's the way she talks, like she's seen things most kids her age haven't, or maybe it's the way she seems to know exactly what to say to get under Eli's skin. They've talked a few times, late at night by the jukebox, about life, about dreams, about getting out of this town. Lila's got her own secrets, though she's cagey about where she came from, why she's here, and what she's running from. Eli's smitten, no question, but there's a part of him that wonders if Lila's arrival and the locket are connected. Could she have left it there, under the oak tree, as some kind of test? Or is she just another lost soul, drawn to the same mystery Eli's chasing? You're feeling it now, aren't you, that tangle of curiosity and doubt, wanting to trust Lila but not quite sure if you should. That's exactly where Eli is, and it's only going to get more complicated. The town itself is a character in this story, and it's been acting strange lately, too. There have been whispers among the locals, stories of lights in the sky, shadows moving in the fields, things that don't add up. Old-timers at the diner talk about the oak tree, the one where Eli found the locket, saying it's been a place of secrets for generations. Some say it's cursed, others say it's sacred, but everyone agrees it's not just a tree. Eli's heard these stories his whole life, but he never paid them much mind until now. The lockets changed everything, made him see his town with new eyes, like his waking up from a dream he didn't know he was in. And you're probably wondering, just like I am, if the town's hiding something bigger, something that explains the note, the path, the way everything seems to be converging on Eli. Is it just a sleepy Midwest town, or is it a stage for something ancient, something that's been waiting for a kid like Eli to come along? The more you think about it, the more the pieces don't quite fit, and that's exactly what makes this story so gripping. Eli's not walking this path blindly, but he's not exactly prepared, either. In the days before he left, he'd been digging into the locket symbols, sketching them in his notebook, searching for answers online. He found nothing concrete, just vague references to old myths, forgotten languages, and stories of seekers who chased wisdom and never came back. It's enough to make anyone second-guess themselves, but Eli's past the point of turning back. His backpack's stuffed with a water bottle, a granola bar, and that notebook, which is starting to feel like a map to something he can't yet see. The road he's on is leading him away from town, toward the desert he's been dreaming about, and every step feels like a choice he can't undo. You're right there with him, aren't you? Feeling the weight of that choice, the thrill of the unknown, the fear that maybe this is a mistake. But you're also hooked, desperate to know what's out there, what's pulling Eli forward. Is it the locket? Is it Amos, Lila, or something else entirely? The tension's building, and the answers are closer than you think, but not close enough to touch. Here's where we are. Eli's alone, walking a path that feels like it's been waiting for him, the locket a heavy presence in his bag, the note's words burned into his mind. The people in his life, Sarah, MIA, Amos, Lila, they're all pieces of this mystery, but none of them are what they seem. The town, the tree, the strange happenings, they're all threads in a tapestry that's starting to come into focus, but the picture's still blurry. You're invested now, I can feel it, because you're asking the same questions Eli is. Who left the locket? What does the note mean? And what's at the end of this road? You're not going to get those answers just yet, but I promise you, they're coming, and they're going to shake you to your core. Right now, Eli's taking another step, the desert stretching out before him, and something's moving in the distance, something that's not quite human, not quite real. Is it a trick of the heat, or is it the first sign that Eli's not as alone as he thinks? Keep watching, because the truth is out there, and it's closer than Eli or you realize. You're still here, glued to the screen, aren't you? I can feel your pulse racing, just like Eli's, as he trudges deeper into the desert, the sun beating down like it's trying to burn the truth out of him. That locket in his backpack feels heavier with every step, and the note, the path to wisdom begins where the road ends, is starting to sound less like a promise and more like a warning. The desert stretches out endlessly, a sea of sand and secrets, and Eli's starting to wonder if he's made a terrible mistake. You're right there with him, caught up in the mystery, desperate to know what's pulling him forward and what's lurking just out of sight. But things are about to get a lot harder for our boy, because the universe doesn't give up its secrets easily. Obstacles are piling up, shadows are closing in, and the truth Eli's chasing is slipping further away with every move he makes. There's a hidden past creeping into the light, a betrayal that cuts deep, and an ally who might be playing a dangerous game. You're not going to believe what happens next, but you've got to keep watching, because this story's about to twist in ways that'll leave you questioning everything. Eli's been walking for hours now, his water bottle nearly empty, his throat dry as the cracked earth beneath his feet. The desert's not just a place, it's a living thing, whispering doubts in his ear, making him second-guess every choice that brought him here. He's been clutching the locket like a lifeline, but when he stops to rest under a jagged outcrop of rock, he pulls it out to study it again, hoping for some clue he missed. That's when it happens. The locket's gone cold, unnaturally cold, like it's been dipped in ice, and when he pries it open, the note inside, the one with the spidery handwriting, is gone. Just an empty compartment, staring back at him like a cruel joke. Eli's heart drops into his stomach. He checks his bag, his pockets, the ground around him, but it's nowhere. The note, the only thing guiding him, has vanished into thin air. You're feeling that panic, aren't you? That sinking dread when something you thought you could count on disappears, leaving you grasping at shadows. Eli's mind is racing. Did he lose it? Did the desert take it? Or did someone, or something, steal it while he wasn't looking? The locket's still there, its strange symbols glinting in the sunlight, but without the note, it feels like a lock without a key. He's got no choice but to keep moving, but the weight of that loss is crushing, and it's making him question whether this path is even real. As if that wasn't enough, Eli's not alone out here, and the company he's keeping is starting to feel like more trouble than it's worth. A few miles back, he ran into Lila, of all people, leaning against a rusted signpost like she'd been waiting for him. Her sudden appearance in the middle of nowhere was a shock, but her smile was disarming, and for a moment, Eli felt a flicker of relief, like he wasn't so alone anymore. Lila claimed she was out here exploring, chasing her own answers, but her story's got holes. Why would she leave town without telling anyone? Why does she keep glancing at Eli's backpack like she knows what's inside? She's been walking with him for a while now, her sketchbook tucked under her arm, tossing out cryptic comments about fate and choices that make Eli's skin prickle. You're probably wondering the same thing he is. Is Lila a friend, a guide, or something else entirely? There's a moment, just before the note disappears, where Eli catches her staring at the locket with an intensity that doesn't feel right, and when he asks her about it, she laughs it off, saying she's just curious. But there's a sharpness in her eyes, a secret she's not sharing, and it's starting to make Eli wonder if Lila's tied to this mystery in ways he can't see. You know that feeling when you want to trust someone, but your gut's screaming at you to watch your back. That's where Eli's at, and it's only going to get messier. Then there's the warning that comes out of nowhere, like a thunderclap in a clear sky. Eli and Lila have set up a makeshift camp for the night, the desert stars blazing overhead, when they hear footsteps crunching in the sand. It's Amos, the old man from town, looking like he's walked straight out of one of Eli's nightmares. His face is weathered, his eyes sharp as knives, and he's carrying a walking stick that looks older than the desert itself. He doesn't waste time with pleasantries. "Turn back, boy," he says, his voice low and urgent. "You're digging into things that don't want to be found. You keep going. You're not just risking yourself, you're risking everyone you love." Eli's stunned, his mind scrambling to make sense of it. How did Amos find him out here? Why is he so desperate to stop him? And what does he mean by everyone you love? Lila's quiet, watching the exchange like she's sizing Amos up, and that only makes Eli more uneasy. Amos won't say more, just shakes his head and disappears into the darkness, leaving Eli with a knot of fear in his chest. You're feeling it too, that chill down your spine, wondering what Amos knows and why he's so afraid. Is he trying to protect Eli, or is he hiding something tied to the locket, the note, the path itself? The warning's a roadblock, a reason to turn back, but Eli's too far in, and you know he's not going to stop, even if it means facing whatever Amos is afraid of. Now, let's peel back another layer, because there's a secret from Eli's past that's starting to cast a long shadow over this journey. Back when Eli was 10, something happened in his town that no one talks about anymore, something that left scars on everyone who was there. It was the summer the river dried up, an unnatural drought that turned the fields to dust and set the whole town on edge. People started acting strange, fights broke out, neighbors turned on each other, and then, one night, a fire tore through the old library, reducing it to ash. The official story was faulty wiring, but Eli remembers whispers, even as a kid, that it wasn't an accident. His dad was still around back then, and Eli remembers him arguing with Sarah late at night, saying things like they're hiding something and it's not safe here. Not long after, his dad left, vanishing without a word, and Eli's always wondered if it was tied to that fire, that summer, that secret. The locket symbols, the ones Eli's been sketching, feel eerily familiar, like something he might have seen in his dad's things before he disappeared. Could the locket be connected to that hidden past, To the betrayal that broke his family apart? You're starting to see the threads, aren't you? The way this story's weaving together, pulling Eli deeper into a mystery that's been buried for years. But the more he uncovers, the more dangerous it gets, and the desert's not done with him yet. Lila's presence is complicating things, too, because Eli's starting to realize she's not just a bystander. Last night, when they were sitting by the fire, she let slip something that's been gnawing at him ever since. She mentioned the oak tree, the one where Eli found the locket, like she knew more about it than she should. When he pressed her, she backtracked, saying she just heard stories, but Eli's not buying it. There's a moment, in the quiet of the desert night, where he catches her sketching something in her notebook, and for a split second, he swears he sees one of the locket's symbols on the page before she slams the book shut. Is Lila working with someone? Was she sent to keep an eye on Eli, to make sure he fails? Or is she just as lost as he is, chasing her own truth? You're caught in the same web Eli is, wanting to believe in Lila's charm but sensing there's a hidden agenda behind her smile. The betrayal, if it's coming, is going to hurt, and Eli's not ready for it, but neither are you, and that's what makes this so gripping. The tension's thicker now, the stakes higher, and Eli's running out of room to maneuver the missing note, Amos's warning, Lila's secrets, the ghost verite of the locket's symbols. It's all piling up, and the desert's throwing new obstacles at him every step of the way. He's tired, thirsty, and scared, but that hunger for wisdom, for answers, is still burning inside him. You're feeling it too, that need to know, to unravel this mystery before it unravels Eli. But just when you think things can't get any worse, there's a twist that changes everything. As Eli and Lila pack up their camp at dawn, he reaches for his backpack, ready to keep moving, when he notices something new scratched into the rock where they slept, a single symbol, identical to one on the locket, and beside it, a fresh footprint that doesn't belong to either of them. Someone, or something, was here, watching them, leaving a message that feels like a threat. Eli's breath catches, and Lila's face goes pale, her eyes darting to the horizon. Who's out there? Are they friend or foe? And how do they know about the locket? You're hooked, aren't you? That twist has you on the edge of your seat, and you're not going anywhere until you find out what it means. Keep watching, because Eli's journey is far from over, and the truth is closer and more dangerous than ever. You're still locked in, aren't you? I can feel your heart pounding as Eli stands frozen, staring at that eerie symbol scratched into the rock, the fresh footprint beside it sending a shiver down his spine. The desert's playing tricks on him now, the horizon blurring with heat and secrets, and Lila's standing there, her face pale, her eyes scanning the empty expanse like she's expecting something or someone to step out of the haze. That locket in Eli's backpack feels like a ticking bomb, its cold metal and strange symbols tying him to a mystery that's growing darker by the minute. The missing note, Amos's cryptic warning, Lila's suspicious behavior, and now this new mark in the sand. It's all spiraling, pulling Eli deeper into a web he can't escape. But just when you thought this story couldn't get any wilder, a secondary thread is about to unravel, one that's going to make you question everything you thought you knew. Back in town, someone close to Eli is about to stumble into the same mystery, receiving a clue that mirrors his own, and it's going to turn this journey upside down. The stakes are skyrocketing, motives are getting murkier, and you're going to be glued to the screen, trying to figure out who's pulling the strings. Let's dive back in, because this desert's not just testing Eli, it's testing everyone he loves, and the truth is slipping further out of reach. While Eli's out there, miles from home, battling the desert and his own doubts, something strange is happening back in that sleepy Midwest town he left behind. MIA, his 8-year-old sister, is sitting on the front porch of their weathered house, her knees pulled up to her chest, her eyes fixed on the dusty street where Eli used to walk her to school. Sarah, their mom, has been a wreck since Eli disappeared. She's been working extra shifts at the diner, trying to keep it together, but MIA can see the worry in her mom's eyes, the way her hands shake when she thinks no one's watching. Mia's been quiet, too quiet, clutching Eli's old hoodie like it's a lifeline, but what no one knows is that she's been keeping a secret of her own. 2 nights ago, while Sarah was at work, MIA was rummaging through Eli's room, looking for something to make her feel closer to him. Under his bed, tucked inside a showbox, she found a folded piece of paper, not the note from the locket, but something new, something Eli must have left behind. It's a sketch of the oak tree, the one where Eli found the locket, and scrawled across it in his messy handwriting are the words, "It's not the end. It's the beginning." Below that, there's a symbol, identical to the one on the locket, and a single sentence, "She knows more than she says." You're probably getting that same uneasy feeling Mia did when she read it, your mind racing with questions. Who's she? Lila? Someone else? And why did Eli hide this? Mia's just a kid, but she's sharp, and those dreams she's been having, the ones about the faceless man under the tree, are starting to feel less like dreams and more like warnings. You're hooked now, aren't you? Because Mia's discovery is a thread that ties her to Eli's journey, and it's about to pull her into the same dangerous game. Back in the desert, Eli's trying to shake off the shock of the footprint and the symbol, but Lila's acting stranger by the minute. She's brushing off the discovery, saying it's probably just a hiker or a prank, but her voice is too tight, her hands fidgeting with the strap of her bag. Eli's not buying it, he's starting to wonder if Lila knows more about that symbol than she's letting on, especially after that slip about the oak tree. As they trek deeper into the desert, the terrain gets rougher, the path narrowing into a canyon where the walls rise like silent sentinels, carved with shapes that look too deliberate to be natural. Eli's notebook is filling up with sketches of these carvings, and he's noticing a pattern. Some match the locket symbols, others are new, but they all feel like pieces of a language he's not supposed to understand. It's exhilarating and terrifying, like he's on the verge of cracking a code that could change everything or destroy him. But then, another obstacle rears its head. The canyon's blocked by a rock slide, a wall of boulders that looks fresh, like it happened hours ago. Eli's gut tells him this isn't a coincidence, someone doesn't want him going any further. Lila's quick to suggest turning back, her tone a little too eager, and that's when Eli notices something glinting in the rubble, a small, tarnished key, etched with the same symbol he saw on the rock this morning. You're feeling that jolt, right? That mix of excitement and dread, wondering what the key unlocks and who left it there. Is it a clue, a trap, or both? Eli pockets it, but Lila's watching him too closely, and the tension between them is thick enough to choke on. Meanwhile, back in town, Mia's secret is starting to pull her into trouble. She's been carrying Eli's sketch around, hiding it in her pocket, but she's not as sneaky as she thinks. At school, she shows it to her best friend, Tommy, a wiry kid with a knack for getting into mischief. Tommy's eyes light up when he sees the symbol, and he swears he's seen it before on a weird old book his grandpa keeps locked in a trunk. Tommy's grandpa, Mr. Harlan, is a retired history teacher, the kind of guy who knows too much about the town's past and doesn't talk about it unless he's had a few beers. Mia begs Tommy to sneak a look at the book, but when they try, they find the trunk empty, the lock busted, like someone got there first. Now, you're probably wondering the same thing Mia is. Who took the book, and why? Was it Amos, the old man who warned Eli to turn back? Or someone else, someone who's been watching Mia, waiting for her to dig too deep? The next morning, Mia finds something slipped under her door, a crumpled note with a single line in unfamiliar handwriting. Stop looking, or you'll lose more than your brother. You're getting that chill down your spine, aren't you? Because now Mia's not just a bystander, she's a target. And the mystery that's swallowing Eli is reaching back to pull his little sister in, too. The stakes are higher than ever, and you're starting to question everyone's motives, from Lila's shifty glances to Amos's cryptic threats to the unseen hand behind that note. The secondary storyline with Mia is complicating everything, because it's not just Eli chasing answers anymore, Mia's on her own path, and the clues she's uncovering are starting to contradict what Eli believes. Eli's convinced the locket and the desert are leading him to wisdom, to some grand truth that'll make sense of his life, but Mia's sketch and the note under her door suggest something darker, something that might be tied to the town's buried past, to that fire 6 years ago that no one talks about. Eli's dad used to say the town was built on secrets, and now, with symbols popping up in Mia's hands and strange warnings piling up, it's starting to feel like he was right. But here's where it gets messy. The key Eli found in the rockslide doesn't match the locket, and when he shows it to Lila, she flinches, just for a second, before covering it with a laugh. It's a tiny moment, but it's enough to make Eli wonder if Lila's been lying about everything, her reasons for being here, her knowledge of the symbols, her so-called exploring. You're caught in the same trap Eli is, wanting to trust Lila but sensing she's holding a piece of the puzzle she's not ready to share. And what about Mia? Is she safe back in town? Or is the person who left that note watching her every move? The motives are murky, the clues are contradictory, and the desert's closing in like a noose. The tension's unbearable now, and every step Eli takes feels like it's pulling him closer to a truth he's not sure he wants to face. The canyon's walls are narrowing, the carvings growing more intricate, and the key in his pocket is burning a hole in his mind. Back in town, Mia's hiding the note from her mom, her heart racing as she tries to decide whether to keep digging or run to someone for help, but who can she trust? Tommy's acting weird, Mr. Harlan's dodging her questions, and the town feels like it's holding its breath, waiting for something to break. You're right there with them, aren't you? Feeling the weight of this mystery, the way it's weaving Eli and Mia's stories together, making you question every character, every clue. But just as Eli rounds a bend in the canyon, ready to face whatever's next, he hears a low, rhythmic hum, like a heartbeat coming from the earth itself, and in the distance, a shadow moves, too quick to be human, too deliberate to be a trick of the light. Lila grabs his arm, her grip too tight, and whispers, "We need to go. Now." But Eli's not moving, because that hum, that shadow, it's calling to him, and it's tied to the key, the locket, the symbol, everything. What's out there? Is it the answer he's been chasing, or the thing that's been chasing him? You're not going anywhere, are you? Because this twist has you hooked, and the next piece of this puzzle is going to blow your mind. Keep watching, because Eli and Mia are in deeper than ever, and the truth is waiting just beyond the next shadow. You're still with me, aren't you? Your eyes are locked on the screen, your breath catching as that low, rhythmic hum pulses through the canyon, vibrating in Eli's chest like a warning from the earth itself. The shadow he saw, too quick, too deliberate, has vanished into the maze of rock and sand, but its presence lingers, heavy and oppressive, like a storm about to break. Lila's grip on his arm is bruising, her whispered plea to run hanging in the air, but Eli's rooted to the spot, the key in his pocket and the locket in his backpack pulling him toward whatever's out there, even as every instinct screams at him to turn back. The desert's no longer just a challenge, it's a predator, and Eli's starting to realize he's not the hunter in this story. He's the prey. Back in town, Mia's clutching that threatening note, her small hands trembling as she hides it from her mom, her world shrinking to the size of her fear. The mystery that's been driving Eli forward, that's tangled Mia in its web, is taking a darker turn now, and the stakes are no longer just about answers, they're about survival. Something drastic is about to happen, something that'll make Eli see the danger he's in, and it's going to hit you like a gut punch. You're going to feel his paranoia, his dread, his desperate need to keep going even as the walls close in. This story's about to get real, so hold on tight, because the truth is out there, but it's got teeth, and it's closer than Eli knows. Eli's mind is a storm of doubt and fear as he stares into the canyon's depths, the hum fading but leaving a residue of unease that clings to him like sweat. Lila's still tugging at his arm, her voice sharper now, insisting they need to move, but there's something in her eyes, panic, yes, but also something else, something that looks like recognition, like she's seen that shadow before and knows what it means. Eli's paranoia is spiking, his thoughts spiraling as he tries to piece together the fragments of this nightmare. The missing note, the symbol on the rock, the key in the rubble, Lila's evasions, Amos's warning, and now this hum, this shadow that feels like it's watching him. He's been so focused on chasing wisdom, on finding the end of the path, that he didn't stop to think about what might be chasing him. But now, standing in this narrow canyon with the walls looming like judges, he's starting to feel it, the weight of being hunted. His heart's hammering, his mouth dry, and every rustle of sand, every shift of light, feels like a threat. You're right there with him, aren't you? Feeling that claustrophobia, that sense that something's closing in, something that knows more about Eli than he knows about himself. He wants to trust Lila, wants to believe she's just as scared as he is, but her quick glances at his backpack, the way she's avoiding his questions about the symbols, are gnawing at him, feeding a fear that's growing too big to ignore. What if Lila's not his ally, but his keeper? The drastic moment comes without warning, shattering the fragile thread of hope Eli's been clinging to. As they push deeper into the canyon, the path twists sharply, leading to a small clearing where the rock walls open up to reveal a shallow cave, its mouth dark and uninviting. Eli's drawn to it, the key in his pocket practically burning, as if it's meant to unlock something inside. But before he can take a step, Lila grabs his wrist, her face ashen, and points to the ground. There, in the sand, are fresh tracks, not footprints, but drag marks, long and uneven, like something heavy was pulled into the cave. And then Eli sees it, a scrap of fabric caught on a jagged rock, bright blue, the same color as the scarf Mia was wearing the last time he saw her. His stomach lurches, his vision tunneling as the world tilts under him. Mia's back in town, safe with their mom, isn't she? She has to be. But the scarf, the drag marks, the cave, they're screaming a different story, one that makes Eli's blood run cold. You're feeling that terror, that gut-wrenching panic, because if Mia's out here, if something's happened to her, then this mystery isn't just dangerous, it's personal, and Eli's in deeper than he ever imagined. He calls her name, his voice cracking, echoing off the canyon walls, but there's no answer, just the hum starting up again, louder now, coming from the cave like a heartbeat that's not his own. Lila's urging him to keep moving, saying it's probably nothing, but her voice is shaking, and Eli's not listening. He's staring at that scarf, his mind racing with images of Mia alone, scared, taken, and the realization hits him like a freight train. He's not just in danger, someone he loves is, too, and he might already be too late. Eli's thoughts are a tangled mess now, his fear for Mia colliding with his growing paranoia about Lila and the mystery that's swallowing them both. He's replaying every moment since he found the locket, every conversation, every glance, trying to find the thread that led to this. Was the scarf a coincidence, or was it placed there to lure him into the cave? Is Mia really out here, or is someone using her to manipulate him? And Lila, why is she so desperate to keep him away from the cave? He's starting to wonder if she's working with whoever left that symbol, whoever took the note, whoever's behind the hum and the shadow. His mind flashes back to Amos's warning, you're risking everyone you love, and it's like a knife in his chest, because he didn't listen, and now Mia might be paying the price. You're caught in the same spiral, aren't you? Questioning everything, from Lila's motives to the scarf's meaning to the cave's pull. Eli's always been a kid who felt too much, thought too much, and now those feelings are drowning him, guilt for leaving Mia behind, fear that has led her into danger, paranoia that the people around him are part of some larger plan. He's not just chasing wisdom anymore, he's fighting to keep his world from falling apart, and the weight of it is crushing him. Back in town, Mia's own story is darkening, adding another layer of dread to this unraveling mystery. She's been hiding the note that was slipped under her door, the one that warned her to stop looking, but her fear is starting to outweigh her bravery. She's been avoiding Tommy, who's been acting cagey since they tried to find his grandpa's book, and she's noticed things, small things, but enough to make her skin crawl. The creak of the porch at night, the way Mr. Harlan stares at her when she passes his house, the feeling of being watched when she's alone. Yesterday, she went back to Eli's room, hoping to find another clue, and found the showbox under his bed empty, the sketch of the oak tree gone. Someone's been in their house, someone who knows what she's found, and the note's warning is starting to feel like a promise. You're feeling that same suffocating fear, that sense that Mia's not just a kid anymore, she's a target, and the same force that's hunting Eli is circling her, too. Who took the sketch? Was it Tommy, scared of what they'd stumbled into? Mr. Harlan, hiding a past tied to the town's secrets? Or someone else, someone who's been pulling strings from the shadows? The questions are piling up, and the answers are nowhere in sight, but one thing's clear, Mia's in danger, and she's starting to realize it, just like Eli. The urgency is palpable now, the weight of the mystery pressing down on Eli and Mia like a physical force. In the desert, Eli's standing at the edge of the cave, the scarf clutched in his trembling hands, the hum growing louder, more insistent, like it's calling him inside. Lila's behind him, her voice a mix of fear and frustration, begging him to leave, but Eli's not listening. He's thinking of Mia, of the locket, of the path he's been following, and is starting to see it for what it is. Not just a journey, but a trap, one that's been set for him from the moment he found the locket. His paranoia is screaming that Lila's part of it, that the shadow, the hum, the scarf, they're all pieces of a puzzle designed to break him. But he can't turn back, not when Mia might be out there, not when the key in his pocket feels like the only way forward. You're right there with him, your heart in your throat, because you know this moment's a turning point, a step into a darkness that might not let him out. And then, just as Eli takes a step toward the cave, the hum stops, replaced by a new sound, a low, guttural growl, coming from inside, and the shadow moves again, Closer this time, its shape twisting in the dim light. Lila screams, but Eli's frozen, the key burning in his pocket, the scarf slipping from his fingers. What's in the cave? Is it MIA, or something far worse? And who's been leading Eli here, step by step, into a danger he can't escape? You're not going anywhere, are you? Because this mystery's darker than ever, and the next move is going to change everything. Keep watching, because Eli's about to face the truth or the thing that's been hunting him all along. You're right there, aren't you? Your heart pounding as Eli stands at the mouth of that cave, the guttural growl echoing from its depths, the blue scarf, Mia's scarf, slipping from his trembling fingers, and Lila's scream cutting through the desert air like a blade. The shadow inside the cave is moving closer, its shape twisting in ways that make Eli's skin crawl, and the key in his pocket feels like it's pulsing, urging him forward even as every instinct begs him to run. The hum is gone, replaced by that primal, bone-chilling sound, and Eli's world is shrinking to the size of this moment, his fear for MIA, his distrust of Lila, his desperate need to understand the locket and the path it's led him down. Back in town, Mia's hiding from whoever's watching her, the stolen sketch and threatening note burning a hole in her mind, her small world collapsing under the weight of a mystery she's too young to carry. You've been with Eli and MIA every step of this journey, piecing together the clues, the symbols, the warnings, the shadows, thinking you had a grip on where this story was going. But you're about to be hit with a plot twist that'll turn everything you thought you knew upside down, a revelation so shocking it'll make you question the very heart of this mystery. Someone Eli trusted is about to pull back the curtain, and what's behind it is going to change the game entirely. Buckle up, because this story's about to take a turn into uncharted territory, and you're not going to see it coming. Eli's frozen, his eyes locked on the cave's dark maw, the growl growing louder, more menacing, when Lila suddenly steps in front of him, her face a mask of desperation and something else, guilt. Before he can react, she grabs his arm, her nails digging into his skin, and hisses, "Eli, stop. You don't understand what you're walking into." Her voice is shaking, but there's a clarity in it that cuts through his panic, and for the first time, she's not dodging his questions, she's ready to spill something big. Eli's heart is racing, his paranoia screaming that this is another trick, but the look in Lila's eyes is different now, raw and unguarded, like she's been carrying a weight she can't hold anymore. She pulls him away from the cave, her words tumbling out in a rush, and what she says hits him like a sledgehammer. The locket, the note, the path, they're not about wisdom, not in the way Eli thought. They're part of something older, something tied to the town's buried past, to the fire that destroyed the library 6 years ago, to Eli's dad, and here's the kicker, to Eli himself. Lila confesses she's not just a runaway who stumbled into town, she's been looking for Eli, sent by someone who knew his dad, someone who claims Eli's connected to a secret that's been hidden for decades, a secret that's worth killing for. You're feeling that jolt, aren't you? That moment when the ground shifts beneath you, and everything you thought was true, Eli's quest for wisdom, the locket's promise, starts to look like a lie. Lila's words are a bombshell, rewriting the story you've been following, and now you're wondering, what's the real mystery here, and why is Eli at the center of it? The twist deepens as Lila keeps talking, her voice low and urgent, the growl from the cave fading but not forgotten. She tells Eli that the locket isn't a guide, it's a marker, a signal to someone, or something, that's been watching him since he was a kid. The symbols, the ones he's been sketching, aren't just random, they're part of a code, a map to something hidden in the desert, something Eli's dad was searching for before he vanished. Lila says she doesn't know all the details, her contact, a shadowy figure she's only met once, gave her just enough to find Eli and keep him on the path. But here's where it gets chilling. She thinks the scarf, the one that looks like Mia's, was planted, not because Mia's here, but to push Eli into the cave, to force him to confront whatever's waiting inside. You're starting to see the layers, aren't you? The way this mystery's been manipulated, the way Eli's been played like a pawn in a game he didn't know he was part of. His mind is reeling, flashing back to his dad's late-night arguments, the whispers about the fire, the way he'd look at Eli sometimes, like he was seeing someone else. Was his dad running from this secret, or toward it? And Lila, can Eli trust her now, after she's admitted she's been lying? Her confession feels like a lifeline, but it's also a noose, tightening around Eli's neck as he realizes the danger he's in isn't just physical, it's personal, tied to his blood, his past, his very existence. Back in town, Mia's storyline is weaving into this twist, adding another thread to the unraveling tapestry. She's been sneaking around, trying to make sense of the note and the missing sketch, but her fears turning into something sharper: determination. She decides to confront Mr. Harlan, Tommy's grandpa, the one person in town who might know something about the symbols. She finds him in his backyard, tending to a garden that's too lush for the town's dry soil, and when she shows him a drawing of the symbol from Eli's sketch, his face goes white. He tries to brush her off, saying it's just an old design, but Mia's not buying it. She sees the way his hands shake, the way he glances at the house like he's afraid someone's listening. Then, in a moment of reckless courage, Mia mentions the locket, and Mr. Harlan grabs her arm, his voice a harsh whisper. "You don't know what you're messing with, girl. That locket's cursed, and your brother's stirring up things that should have stayed buried." He lets her go, but not before she notices a tattoo on his wrist, a faded version of the same symbol. You're getting that chill, right? Because now Mr. Harlan's not just a grumpy old man, he's part of this, tied to the locket, the fire, maybe even Eli's dad. Mia's running home, her mind buzzing with questions. Is Mr. Harlan protecting a secret, or guarding it? And if the locket's cursed, what does that mean for Eli? The twist is sinking in, making you question every clue, every motive, every person in this story. Eli's standing there, Lila's words echoing in his head, the cave's growl a distant rumble now, but the danger feels closer than ever. He's starting to see the locket for what it is, not a path to wisdom, but a key to a truth that someone's desperate to keep hidden. His trust in Lila is hanging by a thread. She's admitted she's been lying, but she's also risking everything to warn him, and that's enough to keep him listening, for now. His thoughts are a storm of fear and betrayal, his heart aching for Mia, for the life he left behind, for the dad who might have known this was coming. He's paranoid, jumping at every shadow, wondering if the figure Lila mentioned, the one who sent her, is the same person who left the scarf, the symbol, the key. You're caught in the same whirlwind, aren't you? Questioning everything: the locket's purpose, Lila's true agenda, the shadow in the cave, the secret tied to Eli's dad. The story you thought you were watching, a boy's journey to wisdom, has morphed into something darker, a conspiracy that spans years and lives, with Eli and Mia caught in its crosshairs. And just as Eli takes a step back from the cave, ready to demand more answers from Lila, he hears it, a faint, human voice, calling his name from inside the cave, weak but unmistakable. It sounds like Mia, but it can't be, can it? Lila's eyes widen, her hand grabbing his, and Eli's frozen, torn between the voice and the truth Lila's just dropped. Is it Mia, or another trap? Who's been orchestrating this, and what do they want with Eli? You're hooked, your mind racing, because this twist has shattered the story's foundation, and the next move is going to change everything. Keep watching, because the cave's calling, and the answers, or the lies, are waiting inside. You're still locked in, aren't you? Your pulse racing as Eli stands at the edge of that cave, the faint voice calling his name, Mia's voice, or so it seems, echoing from the darkness, tugging at his heart like a hook. Lila's hand is on his, her grip desperate, her eyes pleading with him to stay back, but the bombshell she just dropped is still ringing in his ears. The locket's not a path to wisdom, but a marker for a dangerous secret tied to his dad, the fire that tore through the town 6 years ago, and Eli himself. The desert air is thick with tension, the canyon walls closing in like a trap, and that growl from the cave is a low, constant threat, reminding Eli that whatever's in there isn't playing games. Back in town, Mia's reeling from Mr. Harlan's cryptic warning about the locket's curse, her small world unraveling as she realizes she's not just a bystander, she's a target, caught in the same web as her brother. You've been riding this rollercoaster with them, piecing together the clues, questioning every motive, and now the stakes are about to climb higher than ever. Eli's about to face impossible choices, ones that'll tear at his soul and force him to weigh his safety, his family, and the truth he's been chasing. You're going to feel every ounce of his struggle, his fear, his heartbreak, because this isn't just a mystery anymore, it's a battle for survival, and the decisions Eli makes next could cost him everything. Let's dive back in, because the conflict's escalating, and there's no turning back now. Eli's chest is tight, his breath shallow, as the voice from the cave calls his name again, weaker this time, like it's fading. Every fiber of his being wants to run inside, to find Mia, to make sure she's safe, but Lila's words are a chain holding him back. She's still talking, her voice low and urgent, trying to explain that the voice is a trap, that the scarf was planted, that whoever's behind this wants Eli in that cave for reasons she doesn't fully understand. But her confession about being sent to find him, about the locket's true purpose, has shattered his trust, and now he's staring at her like she's a stranger. You're feeling that same gut punch, aren't you? That betrayal when someone you thought was on your side turns out to be part of the puzzle. Eli's mind is a storm of emotions: fear for MIA, anger at Lila, guilt for dragging his family into this mess, and a gnawing paranoia that has been played from the start. He yanks his arm free, his voice shaking as he confronts her. Why should I believe you? You've been lying this whole time. Are you leading me into this, or away from it? Lila flinches, her eyes glistening with what looks like tears, but Eli's too raw, too scared, to care. She swears she's trying to protect him, that she didn't know the full scope of the danger until now, but her words feel hollow against the pull of that voice, the weight of the key in his pocket, the locket's cold metal against his skin. He's facing an impossible choice: trust Lila and stay back, risking Mia's life if she's really in there, or charge into the cave, knowing it could be a trap that ends everything. You're right there with him, your heart aching as he wrestles with the decision, because either way, he's losing something: his sister, his safety, or the truth he's been chasing. The conflict escalates when a new threat emerges, one that makes Eli's choice even harder. As he and Lila stand there, locked in their standoff, a figure steps out from behind a jagged rock at the canyon's edge, not the shadow from the cave, but a man, tall and gaunt, his face weathered like the desert itself. He's holding a knife, its blade glinting in the fading light, and his eyes are fixed on Eli with a cold intensity that makes the air feel thinner. You're getting that chill, aren't you? That moment when the danger stops being abstract and becomes real, sharp, undeniable. The man doesn't speak at first, just points the knife at Eli and gestures to the cave, his meaning clear: go inside, or else. Lila's breath catches, and she steps closer to Eli, whispering that she's never seen this man before, but there's a tremor in her voice that makes Eli wonder if she's lying again. The man finally speaks, his voice low and gravelly, delivering an ultimatum that cuts through Eli like a blade. You want your sister safe? You walk in there and finish what your father started. You don't, and the girl back in town pays the price. The mention of MIA sends Eli's heart into free fall, his worst fears confirmed: someone's watching her, threatening her, and this man knows exactly how to twist the knife. You're feeling that same panic, that desperate need to protect someone you love, because Eli's being forced to choose between his own life and Mia's, between the truth his dad died for and the safety of the only family he has left. The man's words echo Amos's warning, Lila's confession, the town's buried secrets, and Eli's starting to see the threads of a conspiracy that's been tightening around him for years. Eli's emotions are raw, spilling out as he grapples with the weight of this moment. He's thinking of MIA, her gap-toothed smile, the way she'd curl up next to him when she was scared, and the thought of her in danger because of him is unbearable. He's thinking of his dad, the man who left without a word, who might have been running from this very secret, and the anger and grief he's carried since then are boiling over, mixing with a fear that he's not strong enough to face what's in that cave. He's thinking of Lila, the girl he wanted to trust, whose lies have left him stranded in a desert of doubt, and he's wondering if she's still playing him, if this man with the knife is her contact, her puppet master. His paranoia is a living thing now, whispering that everyone's in on it: Lila, Amos, Mr. Harlan, even the voice in the cave. You're caught in the same emotional whirlwind, aren't you? Feeling Eli's heartbreak, his rage, his terror, because this isn't just about a locket or a path anymore, it's about a kid who's been pushed to the edge, forced to decide who he is and what he's willing to sacrifice. He wants to scream, to run, to fight, but the man's knife is steady, the voice in the cave is calling, and Mia's life is hanging in the balance. He's never felt so alone, so small, and yet there's a spark inside him, a stubborn flicker of hope that the truth, whatever it is worth fighting for. Back in town, Mia's own struggle is mirroring Eli's, adding another layer of urgency to this escalating conflict. She's locked herself in her room, the threatening note hidden under her pillow, her mind racing as she tries to make sense of Mr. Harlan's words and the tattoo on his wrist. She's starting to piece things together: the locket, the fire, the symbols, and she's realizing that the danger isn't just out in the desert with Eli, it's here, in the town she's always called home. She's been hearing noises at night, footsteps outside her window, and this morning, she found a new note slipped into her backpack, this one written in red ink: "Tell no one, or your brother's gone for good." You're feeling that same suffocating fear, that sense that Mia's trapped in a game she doesn't understand, forced to choose between staying silent and saving Eli, or speaking out and risking everything. She wants to tell her mom, to run to someone for help, but the note's threat is too real, and Mr. Harlan's warning about the locket's curse is echoing in her head. She's just a kid, but she's carrying a weight that's crushing her, and the thought of losing Eli, the only person who's ever made her feel safe, is tearing her apart. You're connected to her struggle, her courage, her terror, because Mia's not just a side character, she's a mirror of Eli, facing her own impossible choices in a town that's starting to feel like a prison. The tension's at a breaking point now, the conflict so intense it's hard to breathe. Eli's standing there, the man's knife gleaming, the cave's voice pulling at him, Lila's pleas ringing in his ears, and he's got to decide: step into the cave, knowing it could be a trap that kills him, or walk away, knowing it might cost Mia's life. The man's ultimatum is a blade at his throat, and Lila's confession is a wound that won't stop bleeding. He's thinking of his dad, of MIA, of the locket that started this all, and he's wondering if the truth is worth the price he's being asked to pay. You're right there with him, your emotions tangled in his, because this is what it means to be human, to face choices that rip you apart, to fight for what matters even when you're scared out of your mind. And just as Eli takes a step toward the cave, the man with the knife smiles a cold, knowing smile that says he's been expecting this all along, and says, "You're more like your father than you know." The words hit Eli like a bullet, and the cave's growl surges, louder, hungrier, as the shadow inside moves closer, its shape almost human, almost familiar. What does the man know about Eli's dad? Is the voice really Mia's, or something else entirely? And what's waiting in the cave, a truth, a trap, or the end of everything? You're hooked, your mind spinning with questions, because Eli's choices are tearing him apart, and the next step is going to change the game forever. Keep watching, because the desert's not done with him, and the truth is closer and more dangerous than ever. You're right there, aren't you? Your heart hammering as Eli takes that fateful step toward the cave, the man's chilling words, "You're more like your father than you know," ringing in his ears, the knife's glint a constant threat, and the growl from the darkness growing louder, hungrier, like it's ready to swallow him whole. Lila's beside him, her face a mask of fear and guilt, her earlier confession about the locket's true purpose a marker for a dangerous secret tied to Eli's dad and the town's buried past still burning in his mind. The voice calling his name, sounding so much like Mia's, is pulling him forward, even as every instinct screams that it's a trap. Back in town, Mia's locked in her room, clutching the red-inked note that threatens Eli's life, her small frame trembling as she realizes the dangers not just in the desert but all around her, in the town she thought she knew. You've been with them through every twist, every betrayal, every impossible choice, and now the story's hurtling toward its climax, the conspiracy's true scale about to explode into view. This isn't just about Eli or MIA anymore, it's bigger, darker, involving more people than they ever imagined, and a shocking betrayal is about to rip their world apart. The danger's closing in, the stakes are sky high, and you're going to feel every ounce of the urgency, the fear, the raw human struggle as Eli faces a truth that could break him. Let's dive in, because this is where everything changes, and there's no going back. Eli's barely taken 2 steps into the cave when the darkness swallows him, the air turning cold and thick, the growl vibrating through the stone floor like a living thing. Lila's right behind him, her breath ragged, but the man with the knife stays outside, his silhouette framed against the fading desert light, that cold smile still plastered on his face. Eli's clutching the locket, its symbols glowing faintly now, casting eerie shadows on the cave walls, and the key in his pocket feels like it's humming, syncing with the growl in a way that makes his skin crawl. His mind is a whirlwind of fear and determination, his thoughts racing back to MIA, to the scarf, to Lila's confession, to the man's cryptic taunt about his dad. He's terrified, his heart pounding so hard it hurts, but he's driven by a desperate need to find MIA, to uncover the truth, to prove he's not just a kid lost in a game he doesn't understand. You're feeling that same urgency, aren't you? That need to know, to protect, to fight against a danger that's bigger than you. The cave's walls are carved with more symbols, intricate and ancient, stretching deeper than Eli can see, and as he moves forward, the voice calling his name grows clearer, but it's starting to sound wrong, too hollow, too deliberate, like a recording meant to lure him in. His paranoia spikes, his trust in Lila fraying as he catches her glancing at the symbols with a familiarity she hasn't explained. He's about to confront her again when the cave opens into a vast chamber, and what he sees stops him dead, a circle of figures, cloaked and silent, standing around a stone altar, and on that altar, a second locket, identical to his, pulsing with the same faint glow. You're getting that chill, right? Because this isn't just a cave, it's a stage, and Eli's walked right into the heart of a conspiracy that's been waiting for him. The figures turn as one, their faces hidden under hoods, but one steps forward, and when the hood falls back, Eli's world shatters. It's Amos, the old man from town, the one who warned him to turn back, his weathered face now twisted with a mix of regret and resolve. Eli's breath catches, his heart breaking as the betrayal sinks in. Amos, the hermit he thought was trying to protect him, is part of this, standing in a cave with cloaked strangers, guarding a secret that's cost lives. You're feeling that same gut punch, that sting of trust betrayed, because Amos was supposed to be a guide, not a player in this deadly game. Amos's voice is heavy as he speaks, his words cutting deeper than the knife outside. You weren't supposed to get this far, Eli. Your father didn't, and we thought you'd turn back. He explains, in a tone that's both weary and cold, that the locket was never meant for wisdom. It's a key to a network, a hidden order that's been operating in the town for decades, controlling its secrets, its people, its past. The fire 6 years ago wasn't an accident, it was a purge, meant to destroy evidence of their existence, and Eli's dad was too close to exposing them, so they made him disappear. You're reeling now, aren't you? Because this conspiracy isn't just about a locket or a cave, it's a web that spans generations, with roots in the town's founding, and Eli's family is tangled in its center. Amos says Eli's dad left the locket for him, hoping he'd stay away, but Eli's persistence has forced their hand, and now they need him, his blood, his connection to the symbols, to unlock something they've been guarding for centuries. The scale of it hits Eli like a tidal wave, and you're right there with him, your mind spinning as the pieces fall into place. The symbols, the fire, the warnings, the threats to MIA, they're all part of a machine that's been running long before Eli was born. The emotional weight is crushing as Eli processes Amos's betrayal, his role in this shadowy order, and the truth about his dad. He's shaking, tears burning his eyes, as he thinks of his father, a man he's hated for leaving, now revealed as a victim of something far bigger than a broken family. He's thinking of MIA, back in town, unaware that the danger's not just in the desert but in the streets she walks, the people she trusts. He's thinking of Lila, standing silent beside him, her face unreadable, and he's wondering if she knew about Amos, if her confession was just another layer of manipulation. His fear is raw, his anger hotter than the desert sun, but there's a deeper pain, a grief for the life he thought he had, the safety he took for granted. You're feeling that same ache, that human struggle to hold on to hope when everything's falling apart, because Eli's not just fighting for answers, he's fighting for his identity, his family, his right to exist in a world that's been lying to him. The cloaked figures are closing in now, their silence more terrifying than any threat, and Amos steps closer, holding out his hand for the locket. He offers Eli a choice, but it's no choice at all: hand over the locket and join them, or fight and lose everything. MIA, his mom, his life. You're caught in the same trap, your heart breaking for Eli as he faces a decision that could destroy him either way. He's staring at Amos, at the second locket on the altar, at the symbols glowing brighter, and he's realizing that the voice, the one he thought was Mia's, is coming from the altar itself, a mechanical hum masked as human, designed to draw him here. The betrayal cuts deeper, the danger closer, and Eli's running out of time. Back in town, Mia's storyline is racing toward its own climax, mirroring Eli's desperation. She's slipped out of the house, driven by a need to find answers, and gone to the oak tree, the one where Eli found the locket, hoping it holds another clue. The tree's shadow feels heavier now, its gnarled roots hiding secrets she's not sure she wants to uncover, but she's digging, her small hands scraping at the dirt, when she finds it, a metal box, rusted and locked, with the same symbol etched into its lid. Her heart's pounding, her fear mixing with a fierce determination to help Eli, but as she pries it open, she hears footsteps behind her. It's Mr. Harlan, his face dark with anger, and he's not alone. Tommy's grandpa is flanked by two men she's never seen, their eyes cold and calculating. You're getting that same dread, that sense that Mia's walked into a trap, Because Mr. Harlan's not just a grumpy old man, he's part of the same order Amos revealed, and Mia's discovery has put her in their crosshairs. He snatches the box from her, his voice low and menacing. "You're just like your brother, sticking your nose where it doesn't belong." The box, the tree, the locket, they're all connected, pieces of a conspiracy that's been guarding something in the desert, something worth killing for, and Mia's now a threat they can't ignore. You're feeling her fear, her courage, her love for Eli, because she's fighting the same battle he is, against a machine that's bigger than either of them. The pressure's unbearable now, the climax looming like a storm. In the cave, Eli's gripping the locket, his eyes locked on Amos, the cloaked figures tightening their circle, the altar's hum growing louder, more insistent. Lila's still beside him, her silence deafening, and Eli's wondering if she's been working with Amos all along, if her tears were just another act. The man with the knife is at the cave's entrance, blocking any escape, and Eli's choice is a noose around his neck. Give up the locket and surrender to a truth he doesn't understand, or fight and risk Mia's life, his mom's, everything he's ever known. In town, Mia's backed against the oak tree, Mr. Harlan and his men closing in, the box in their hands a key to the same secret Eli's facing. You're right there with them, the danger so real it's suffocating, the urgency driving you to the edge of your seat. And just as Eli raises the locket, ready to make his choice, the altar's hum spikes, the second locket glowing brighter, and the cave shakes, rocks falling as a new voice, not Mia's, but his dad's echoes from the darkness. "Eli, run. Is it real, or another trick? Is Amos lying about his dad's fate? And what's in the box MIA found, the one Mr. Harlan's guarding like his life depends on it?" You're hooked, your emotions raw, because the conspiracy's bigger than Eli, bigger than MIA, bigger than the town, and the next moment's going to decide everything. The cave's shaking, rocks crumbling from the ceiling as that eerie hum spikes, and the voice, his dad's voice, impossibly real, echoes again. "Eli, run," cutting through the chaos like a lifeline. Lila's beside him, her silence screaming betrayal, her eyes darting between Eli and the altar, and the man with the knife blocks the entrance, his cold smile a promise of violence. Back in town, Mia's backed against the oak tree, Mr. Harlan and his men closing in, the rusted metal box she unearthed now in their hands, its symbol tying her to the same conspiracy that's swallowing her brother. You've been with them through every twist, every betrayal, every impossible choice, and now the climax is here, the mysteries colliding in a storm of truth and danger. This is where it all comes to a head, where Eli faces the heart of the conspiracy in a battle that's as much psychological as it is physical, and you're going to feel every second of the tension, the fear, the raw human struggle. But hold on tight, because just when you think you've got it figured out, one last twist is going to hit you like a freight train, leaving you breathless. Let's dive into the fire, because this is where Eli's journey ends, or begins. The cave's tremors intensify, dust and pebbles raining down as Eli's eyes lock on Amos, his heart a tangled mess of rage, grief, and defiance. He's thinking of MIA, trapped back in town, of his dad, whose voice is still ringing in his ears, of the locket that's led him to this moment, a marker, not for wisdom, but for a secret so dangerous it's torn his world apart. Amos steps closer, his hand outstretched, his voice steady but urgent. "Give it to me, Eli. You don't understand what's at stake. This isn't just about you, it's about the town, the desert, everything we've protected for centuries." But Eli's done listening, done being a pawn in a game he never agreed to play. His fear is burning away, replaced by a fury that's been building since his dad left, since the fire, since the moment he found the locket under that cursed oak tree. You're feeling that same fire, aren't you? That need to fight back, to take control, even when the odds are stacked against you. Eli's grip on the locket tightens, and he takes a step toward the altar, the second locket glowing brighter, its hum syncing with the one in his hand. The cloaked figures tense, their hands reaching for something under their robes, knives, maybe, or worse, and Lila finally speaks, her voice cracking. "Eli, don't. You'll destroy everything." But her words only fuel his resolve, because he's starting to see it now. The altar, the lockets, the symbols, they're not just a code, they're a lock, and here's the key, tied to this conspiracy by blood, by his dad's legacy, by a truth he's only beginning to grasp. The battle's starting, and it's not just about survival, it's about tearing down the lies that have caged him his whole life. Eli lunges for the altar, his heart pounding as he slams his locket into a carved slot beside the second one, the symbols aligning with a click that echoes like a gunshot. The hum explodes into a deafening roar, the cave shaking so violently that rocks crash around them, and the cloaked figures shout, their voices a mix of anger and fear. Amos grabs for Eli, but he's too late. The altar's glowing now, a blinding light spilling from the lockets, revealing a hidden panel in the stone, sliding open to expose a small, ancient device, its surface etched with the same symbols, pulsing with an energy that feels alive. You're on the edge of your seat, aren't you? Because this is it, the final piece of evidence, the heart of the conspiracy, and it's bigger than Eli, bigger than the town, bigger than anything you imagined. The device is a relic, a fragment of something older than history, tied to the desert's secrets, to the town's founding, to a power that's been guarded by Amos's order for generations. Eli's dad found it, or came close, and they killed him for it, just like they're ready to kill Eli now. The man with the knife charges forward, his blade aimed at Eli's chest, but Lila, who's been silent, who's been suspect, throws herself in front of him, taking the blow, her blood spilling onto the cave floor as she collapses with a cry. You're reeling, your emotions raw, because Lila's sacrifice is a shock, a proof that maybe she was telling the truth, that her guilt was real, that she cared for Eli even as she played her part in this deadly game. Eli screams her name, his hands shaking as he tries to hold her, but she's gasping, her eyes locked on his, whispering, "Finish it. For your dad. For Ma." The cave's chaos is a blur now, the cloaked figures closing in, Amos shouting orders, the device on the altar humming with a power that's tearing the world apart. Eli's mind is a storm of grief and rage, grief for Lila, bleeding out in his arms, for his dad, whose voice he now knows was a trick, a recording embedded in the device to lure him here, rage for Amos, for the order, for the lies that have stolen everything he loves. He's fighting now, not just for himself but for MIA, for the truth, for a chance to break this cycle of secrets and death. You're feeling that same desperation, that need to hold on, to win, because Eli's battle is yours, a human struggle against a machine that's been running too long. He grabs the device, its energy burning his hands, and pulls it free, the altar's light flickering as the cave begins to collapse. Amos lunges, his face twisted with desperation, and they grapple, Eli's strength fueled by a lifetime of pain, his fists slamming into Amos as the old man tries to wrench the device away. The cloaked figures are scattering, some crushed by falling rocks, others disappearing into the shadows, but the man with the knife is still there, circling, waiting for his moment. Eli's losing ground, his body screaming with exhaustion, his heart breaking for Lila, for MIA, for the boy he used to be, but he's not giving up. He kicks Amos back, clutching the device, and runs for the cave's entrance, the collapsing walls a roar behind him, the knife man's footsteps pounding in pursuit. Back in town, Mia's fight is just as fierce, her own climax colliding with Eli's. She's running from Mr. Harlan and his men, the metal box still in their hands, her lungs burning as she ducks through alleys, her fear for Eli driving her forward. She's pieced it together now, the box, the locket, the symbols, they're all part of the same secret, a network that's been controlling the town, manipulating its people, hiding a truth that's out there in the desert with her brother. You're right there with her, your heart aching for this kid who's too young for this fight but too brave to back down. She reaches the diner, bursting through the door to find her mom, Sarah, who's been frantic since Eli left, and spills everything, the notes, the box, Mr. Harlan's threat. Sarah's face hardens, and in a moment that hits like a lightning bolt, she reveals her own secret. She knew about the order, about Eli's dad's search, and she's been hiding it to protect her kids, thinking silence would keep them safe. You're stunned, aren't you? Because Sarah's betrayal, her silence, is another layer of this conspiracy, another wound for MIA to carry. But there's no time for tears. Mr. Harlan's men are at the diner's door, and MIA and Sarah are trapped, their only hope resting on Eli, out in the desert, fighting a battle he doesn't fully understand. And here's the twist, the one you didn't see coming, the one that turns the climax into something unforgettable. And here's the twist, the one you didn't see coming, the one that turns the climax into something unforgettable. As Eli stumbles out of the cave, the device burning in his hands, the desert shaking around him, he sees the knife man closing in, but there's someone else, Tommy, Mia's friend, the kid who seemed so harmless, standing at the canyon's edge, his eyes cold and calculating, holding a gun. Tommy's not just a kid, he's been trained by the Order, groomed to watch MIA, to report on Eli, to ensure the secret stays buried. You're gasping, your mind reeling, because Tommy's betrayal is a knife in the heart, a reminder that no one in this story is what they seem. He raises the gun, his voice steady. You should have listened to Amos, Eli. Give me the device, or Mia's dead before sunrise. Eli's frozen, the device's heat searing his skin, Lila's blood on his hands, the cave collapsing behind him, and Tommy's gun aimed at his chest. The conspiracy's scale is overwhelming now, its tendrils reaching from the desert to the town, from Amos to Mr. Harlan to Tommy, a machine that's been feeding on lies for centuries. Eli's fight is bigger than he ever imagined, and the choice he makes now, hand over the device or run, will decide everything. You're on the edge, your emotions roar, because Eli's not just facing a villain, he's facing a world that's been built on betrayal, and the truth is a fire that could burn it all down. What's he going to do? Is Tommy bluffing, or is MIA already lost? And what's the device, really a weapon, a key, or something else entirely? You're hooked, your breath caught, because this climax is everything you've been waiting for, and the final moment's still out of reach. Keep watching, because Eli's battle isn't over, and the desert's still hiding one last secret. You're still here, your heart racing, your emotions roar as Eli stands at the canyon's edge, the ancient device burning in his hands, its pulsing energy a stark contrast to the blood on his fingers, Lila's blood, a sacrifice that's left him shattered. Tommy, the kid he never suspected, is pointing a gun at his chest, his young face hardened by the cold loyalty of the Order, demanding the device with a threat that cuts deeper than any blade. Give it up, or MIA dies. The cave behind Eli is collapsing, its roar drowning out the echoes of Amos's betrayal, the cloaked figure's retreat, and the haunting voice of his dad, a trick to lure him into the heart of a conspiracy that's been strangling his town, his family, his life for generations. In town, MIA and Sarah are cornered in the diner, Mr. Harlan's men at the door, the rusted metal box in their hands a final piece of the puzzle that's tied them all to this moment. You've been with Eli and MIA through every gut-wrenching twist, every betrayal, every impossible choice, feeling their fear, their courage, their desperate need to break free from a web of lies that's bigger than they ever imagined. Now, as the story reaches its resolution, the mysteries are unraveling, the truth's laid bare, but the cost is heavy, and the ending will leave you breathless, reflective, forever changed by Eli's journey. This is where the loose ends tie together, where the answers come, but not without a final, lingering twist that'll stay with you long after the screen fades to black. Let's step into the light, because this is where Eli finds his peace, or something close to it, and you find the closure you've been chasing, with just enough mystery to keep you wondering. Eli's eyes are locked on Tommy's, the gun a cold reality that anchors him to this moment, but his mind is racing, piecing together everything he's learned. The locket, the device, the symbols, they're not just relics of a forgotten past, but a system, a network of power that the Order has guarded for centuries, using the town as a facade, manipulating lives to keep it hidden. The device in his hands is the key, a control mechanism for something buried deeper in the desert, something Eli's dad died trying to expose, a technology, or maybe something more, that could shift the balance of the world if it fell into the wrong hands. Eli's grief for his dad, for Lila, for the innocence he's lost is a weight that threatens to crush him, but it's also a fire, fueling a resolve that's stronger than his fear. You're feeling that same intensity, that human drive to stand up against the impossible, because Eli's not just a kid anymore, he's a force, shaped by loss and love and a hunger for truth. He looks at Tommy, sees the boy he used to be, and makes a choice, not out of fear, but out of hope. Instead of handing over the device, he throws it, hard, into the collapsing cave, the ground swallowing it as the canyon shakes, the symbols on the walls flickering out like dying stars. Tommy screams, firing wildly, but Eli's already moving, tackling him to the ground, the gun skittering across the sand. It's not a clean victory. Eli's battered, bleeding, his body screaming, but it's enough, because the device is gone, the Order's power broken, and Tommy's just a kid again, sobbing in the dirt, his loyalty shattered by the weight of what he's done. You're right there with Eli, your heart swelling with his courage, aching with his pain, because this is what it means to fight for something bigger than yourself, even when it costs everything. In town, the resolution unfolds with the same raw intensity, as MIA and Sarah face their own reckoning. The diner's door bursts open, Mr. Harlan's men charging in, But Sarah's not the broken mother she seemed. She's a woman who's been hiding her own strength, her own secrets, for years. She grabs a kitchen knife, her eyes fierce, and stands between MIA and the men, her voice steady as she tells them the truth she's kept buried. She knew about the order, knew Eli's dad was fighting them, and she's been waiting, watching, gathering evidence to expose them. The metal box MIA found is her leverage, a ledger, etched with names, dates, and transactions, proof of the order's reach, its crimes, its control over the town. You're feeling that surge of pride, that shock of revelation, because Sarah's not just a victim, she's a warrior, and Mia's her spark. As Mr. Harlan lunges, Sarah fights back, MIA scrambling to call for help, and the chaos is interrupted by a new sound. Sirens, distant but growing louder, the town's sheriff, tipped off by a neighbor who saw MIA running, closing in. Mr. Harlan and his men flee, the ledger left behind, and MIA clings to her mom, tears streaming down her face, her fear giving way to a fierce love that's stronger than any threat. You're crying with her, aren't you? Because this is the heart of the story, a family, broken but unbroken, fighting for each other against a darkness that's tried to tear them apart. The order's grip is loosening, the town waking up, and Mia's courage, her refusal to stay silent, is the light that's starting to shine through. Eli stumbles out of the canyon, the desert quiet now, the tremors fading as the sun dips below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of fire and shadow. His alone, Tommy gone, the order scattered, the device buried under tons of rock, its power, if it ever had any, lost to the earth. His body's battered, his heart heavy with Lila's death, with the truth about his dad, with the weight of what is done. But there's a peace settling in, fragile but real, because he's free not from pain, but from the lies that have caged him. He thinks of MIA, of his mom, and he knows he has to get back to them, to rebuild what's left, to live for the people who matter. You're feeling that same bittersweet relief, that sense of closure that's hard-won but worth it, because Eli's journey wasn't about wisdom in the way he thought, it was about finding himself, about breaking the chains of a past he didn't choose. He starts walking, the locket still in his pocket, no longer glowing, just a reminder of what has survived. In town, MIA and Sarah are safe, the ledger in the sheriff's hands, the order's members being hunted down, their secrets spilling out like blood. The town's changing, its people waking up, asking questions, reclaiming their lives. You're seeing it, aren't you? The way this story's not just about Eli and MIA, but about all of us, about fighting for truth, for love, for a chance to start over, even when the world tries to keep you down. But here's the final twist, the one that lingers, the one that'll keep you thinking long after this video ends. As Eli walks, the desert stretching out before him, he hears a sound, a faint hum, not from the locket, but from the ground itself, deep and steady, like a heartbeat that never stopped. He pauses, his breath catching, and in the distance, where the horizon meets the sky, he sees a flicker of light, not the sun, but something else, something that wasn't there before. Is it the device, still alive under the rubble? A remnant of the order's power, waiting to be found? Or something new, something bigger, calling to him as the locket once did? You're getting that chill, that spark of curiosity, because the story's over, but the mystery isn't, not entirely. Eli keeps walking, his face set, his heart steady, because he's not the boy he was when he started this journey. He's found his truth, his peace, but the desert's still out there, holding secrets that might call him back one day. You're left reflecting, aren't you? Thinking about Eli, about MIA, about the choices we make when the world tries to break us, about the courage it takes to keep going, even when the path ends. The screen's about to fade, but this story's not leaving you, it's a fire in your chest, a question in your mind, a reminder that sometimes, the journey to wisdom is just the beginning. Thank you for watching, for feeling, for staying with Eli and MIA until the end. Now, go out there and find your own path, because the truth's always worth chasing, no matter where it leads.